I was just here setting up our first budget for 2020, and now it's already time for February. I have no idea. How did that even happen? Stay tuned for our February 2020 budget setup. Hi, and welcome to the Budget Bounce. I'm Jen, and I am a budget and spreadsheet nerd. I share our budget setup each month so that you can see what we have coming down the pipeline, and hopefully you'll get some ideas or inspiration for how to set up your own budget. Let's jump in and get started. This is my monthly budget, and if you've seen any of my previous budget setup or reporting videos, you know that this is looking a little bit different. So I'm trying something new in 2020. For the past 2 years, I've actually been using the EveryDollar app to track all of our individual transactions, and then I would key the totals into the spreadsheet that you see in my budget videos every month. I was spending a lot of time trying to reconcile the spreadsheet to EveryDollar, and I knew there had to be a better way. I've also been frustrated by not being able to get my spreadsheet through my Google Drive. And what I mean is, so I had an Excel file, a Microsoft Excel file, and it was too big and it wouldn't open in Google Sheets. So I could only access it from my home computer. So I moved my spreadsheet out of Excel into Google Sheets, which is what we're in here today. And now we can access it from any device, including Matt. He can get to it anytime. When I did that, I also changed the color scheme. So you're seeing all of the Budget Bounce colors here, basically, trying to simplify things. In addition, I added some new functionality for entering transactions into the worksheet that automatically populate into the correct area of the budget. So thanks to Brad Finn from the Finn Mindset for his tutorial on how to do that, because I never would have been able to figure that out on my own, I don't think. So now that you're all caught up, let's get started setting up the February 2020 budget. We'll start with income so that we know what we're dealing with. And you can see here we're expecting $9,271 to come in from our salaries from our regular jobs. So I black out the details of who brings in what, but I share the total so that you can see what we have available to us. I always share our real numbers for 2 reasons. 1, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be fully transparent with you. And 2, so that we have a full video account of what we did month by month through this journey. So moving into giving, you can see that we plan on $30 in February. And in housing, we have $1,054 for the mortgage, $165 for our gas and electric utilities. I need to add $169.62 for our city utilities. That's water, garbage, sewer, that kind of thing. We pay that quarterly. And then we've got $178 for mobile services. And then we've got it's not 91, it's $101 for our internet. So that brings our total to $1,669 for housing for February. In transportation, we're expecting $350 for gas and $21 for OnStar, and then everything else is going to be $0 for the month. And that's going to bring our total for transportation to $371. In food, we're planning on $450 for groceries and $100 for dining. For Henry, our youngest, who is still in high school, we don't expect any expenses in February, so I'm going to change his food service to $0. And so that leaves us at $0 for February. Now, he is a senior in high school, and it's possible things will pop up, and that's totally okay because we have a sinking fund for that. So, but this is what we're expecting. In pets, we will have our monthly grooming appointment for our long-haired cat, and that'll be $15. We will also have $80 for food for all 3 of them. We have a dog and 2 cats, and we have a repeat delivery that comes every other month, and so that's coming in February. And then I'm going to have, I don't have anything for meds in February, but I am going to leave $200 in here for the vet line because of our dog, Bella. So she's not been doing very well. I literally just said in my January budget setup video that we were so lucky that none of our pets who are older, they're ages 9, 10, and 11, that none of them are on any medications. and I jinxed us because she is now on medication for at least the next 90 days. And she's been in a lot of pain over the last 10 days or so. We have to go back in for a follow-up for some testing in late February to see how the meds are doing. So I'm hoping 200 is going to cover that. And then that's going to bring, all of that together is going to bring our total pets to $295. Moving on to insurance. It will remain the same as normal. This section includes a whole bunch of deductions that come out of our checks. So let's see here. All of these come out of our paychecks. These are coming out of our bank account, but these are coming directly out of our paychecks before anything hits our bank account. So the total will be $761 for February. Let me know how you're liking this layout so far. I'm liking it a lot. I like it being more simplified color scheme. It's the exact same layout. I just changed the colors on it. That's the only difference for you guys. I like using only the budget bounce shades of purple that I use, so it just seems a lot cleaner to me. Anyhow, I would love to hear from you with your feedback. I may or may not change it based on your feedback. I'm just saying I would love to hear from you what you think about it. For entertainment, we have our streaming services, our Ink service, our monthly movie club, and our family entertainment. And that's going to bring the total for those to $82 for February. In health, I started a new plan year for my flexible spending accounts, and that's gone up. So our total is going to be $325, and then the gym will be $10 like normal. And then for healthcare, I'm going to do $150. I just got a dental bill in from like July. So that's $114 all by itself. So that brings our total to $485 for health in February. For extras, we're not expecting anything in February, but this is kind of the catch-all for the things that come up unexpectedly and don't really fit in with any of our categories. So I never really know what's going to happen with this category. I almost always end up with something in it. Let's take a look at my annual expenses spreadsheet so that we can see what's on the agenda for February. All right, so this is my annual expenses spreadsheet. These are for things that are irregular, that they don't happen very often, and I have a hard time remembering. If I look at February, this is all of the months here, and there's a whole bunch of line items here, you guys. So if I look at this and I filter by February, we only want to see the things that actually have an X in them for February. All right, I've got 3 things that are coming in February. So first is my mom's birthday is coming, and I've already accounted for this in gifts. Next is the quarterly city utility bill is going to be due, and I've already accounted for that in housing. So we're good there. And then the last thing is the tax preparation, because we typically do our taxes in February. But here's the thing is that we're going to be getting them done. We're going to get them done either late in January or early in February. And the return that I'm going to get is going to come back before the end of the month. So I'm just going to take our fees for the tax prep out of that return. So I'm not actually going to populate this in the spreadsheet because it is going to be a wash once the return comes in. I don't actually have to put anything in the spreadsheet for February. So we're just going to leave these blank. I don't have anything to put in here for this month. And by the way, the crap I forgot about that was the category that was really the catalyst for me starting the annual expenses spreadsheet, because things kept popping up. Those first 6 months I was budgeting, these things kept popping up, and I was like, I didn't even remember that we had that. And so I kept saying I would find it, and then I would say, crap, I forgot about that. And so here we are with this fun category that I haven't removed. In envelopes, we are planning on 40 for each of us for spending, 75 for household, and 40 for miscellaneous. And that'll bring our total to $195. And in the budget bounce, the total for subscriptions is now $11.98 because I had to get extra storage for my Google Drive. And so that's all I'm expecting in February is the Adobe Spark and the Google Drive, which comes to $11.98. In savings, we will put $50 in our emergency fund. We'll do $70 for the kids, And then we have our retirement contributions, and that's going to bring the total for savings to $441. Before I continue, I'm wondering how everybody else is doing with getting your budget ready for February. If you've already started working on your budget, let me know by typing budget bouncer in the comments. If you haven't, it's totally okay. You still have some time. Just make sure that you prioritize it before the month starts so that your money doesn't slip away from you before you can give it a job to do. Feel free to share any challenges that are keeping you from getting your budget set up in February. You never know what ideas the Budget Bounce community will have for you out here. So feel free to share, or if you want to bounce them off me in a more private setting, you can email me anytime. I always include my email in the description. And now on to our sinking funds. If you're new here, I am a firm believer in sinking funds, and they help me sleep a lot better at night. So we have a bunch of them. We will put $275 into auto insurance. We will put $40 into auto registration. We will do $30 into business business travel. We will do $80 into city utilities, $40 into clothing. We'll do $25 into estate planning. We're only going to do $10 into gifts. We're going to do $250. That's what we normally do for Henry. Since he doesn't have any expenses up top, we're going to put all $250 into his sinking fund for school. Then we're going to do $60 to holidays. We're going to do $50 in Image Cosmetics. We're going to do $81 to life insurance. We're going to put $25 in healthcare. This is just a little bit more to help with the monthly things that come in. We're going to put $50 to 1 month ahead, or one check ahead, We're focused on one check ahead right now. And then online subscriptions, we're going to do $80. In pet expense, I'm not putting anything in there. We normally do $150 a month for the pets, and we're spending more than that on the things that are coming through this month. So nothing's going to the sinking fund. And then in technology, we are going to be putting in $25. And in case you were wondering, this is an account for any repairs or replacement that we might need to do for any of our tech. So think, we don't really use a tablet, but we have phones and we have computers. That's really the main thing. Travel, we're going to do $340. Vacation, we're going to do $150. Vehicles, we're going to do $225. And then wedding anniversary, we're going to do $15. And that brings our total sinking funds to $1,851 for February. Moving on to our debt category, I've got this broken into 3 separate subcategories. First, there are those that we've already paid off. Second, there are those that we are not currently paying on. And third are those that we are actually paying on. So this first category that you're seeing are the items that we've already paid off. So I've got 2 columns here. There are a total of 18 different debts here. We've got a number of different things going on in here. But what you see here is it includes phones, medical bills, credit cards, cars, and the IRS. We had a little bit of everything when we started. We had like 40 separate debts when we started. I'm realizing now you can't see the total. There you go. So the total of all of these debts that we've paid off so far, I think I said there were 18 total, is $25,434. So these are gone forever. Now we've obviously paid off more than $25,000. These are just of the debts that are completely and 100% paid. Also, before I move on, the reason the fonts are in different colors is to distinguish between those that have only Matt's name on them, which are in black, and then those with my name on them, which are in pink. And then if I scroll down a little bit here, we've got the charged off section. And this houses the things that we are not currently paying on. So you'll notice here that all of these are in black. They're Matt's. We set these aside to tackle later at Matt's request. So just to give you a little background, I had never not paid bills in my life ever before all of this happened. It started in 2017, and not paying them all every month was taking a huge toll on me. I was so incredibly stressed from the creditors calling, the final notices in the mail, and my credit score was like plummeting like almost every week. It was just falling and falling. And I'd had like a 750 credit score or higher. It actually got up close to like 820 at one point. I'd had that for over 10 years. I would say probably close to 15 years when this all hit the fan. And watching it plummet was, it was just awful. It was awful for me. And not everybody responds the same. Matt's response to all of this was very different than mine. It doesn't make it mine or his better or worse than the other. It was just very different. So Matt recognized this. And so he insisted that we focus on debts in my name as we were getting going on everything. We'll probably end up settling these later, but we won't do any of that until after we get through everything except for what I call our big 3 debts paid. So you'll see that next here. All right, so we're getting into our actively paying section here. This is our list of debts. I actually had to add a new debt for the first time in over a year. Actually, it's probably been about 18 months since I've had to add a new one. It's a medical bill here from the ambulance service from my November 2018 car accident. So what happened was the insurance didn't pay the claim. This is my husband's health insurance. Didn't pay the claim correctly the first time around. So let me back up. First of all, my auto insurance, whatever I had on my policy was eaten up by the hospital. The hospital billed first. And then I think there was like $200 left when the ambulance billed. Okay. So then when the ambulance billed and didn't get anything from my auto insurance, and they billed my personal insurance, which is through my husband's work, and they didn't pay the claim correctly the first time around because they classified it as out of network. But it was an emergency. So I've confirmed with the insurance provider since then that it in fact should be paid as if it was in network, because I didn't really have a choice. The ambulance showed up and took me to the hospital. You go. You don't say, is that on my insurance? So the problem here is that it takes my husband's insurance company 8 to 9 months to process a claim. So I don't mean from beginning to end, I mean one processing. So they processed it wrong the first time, and it had already been almost a year. So the ambulance service was going to send me to collections. So instead of that, we agreed that I could pay $20 a month until the insurance gets around to processing this correctly. And I'll get a refund when they get their money. But anyhow, that's the whole big saga about adding $600 to our total debt. Moving on, we'll pay $50 to my Care credit card. We'll pay $25 to my Capital One, $154 to my 401k loan, $57 to Matt's private student loan, $190 to my Lowe's card, $400 to our Visa, $550 to our for our car payment, $725 to child support, $200 for a family loan, and then $225 to student loans. Let's talk about the student loans for a minute because I forgot to do that in the January setup video. So Matt is still on the income-driven repayment plan, and every year since they came due in 2014, he has qualified for $0 each month for payments because of his income compared to his expenses. So the interest has been building for the last 5+ years, and now he's at $52,000 as compared to the $43,000 in loans that he started with. So after several discussions about it over the last half of 2019, I convinced Matt that it's time to start paying at least the monthly interest. He really didn't want to do that. He wanted to focus more on other things here, things that were in my name. And I said, we really need to start at least paying the monthly interest. You can see we're having over $200 a month that's accumulating here. This is my estimate. I think it might actually be a little bit more. But we're having over $200 a month that's being added to the principal that's not getting paid. And that's how we landed at $52,000. So we're already $9,000 up from where he started. Basically, by doing this, the analogy that I have, if you imagine, somebody's got a cut and it's bleeding and it needs stitches. To stop the bleeding, it may need 10 stitches. We're putting in 9. So it's still going to ooze a little bit. We're still going to lose a little bit here, but it at least will slow the bleed. Seriously, this has just been getting out of control. So we're going to start paying $225 a month. We already made our first round of payments in January. So we're going to be doing that going forward. And I envision, I believe that at the end of 2020, when we have to certify him again, I think probably his years of $0 is going to pass, just because he had a really good year last year with his income with this job that he's in now. So our total debt payments are set at $2,596. Now, before we move on to totals, I want to go up here. I forgot to put a couple of entries into the sinking funds that I know that we're going to be using. So $169.62 is how much the the city utilities is going to be. And then I'm also going to pull out $80 from the pets sinking fund to help pay for the vet expenses that are coming. So that's going to be a total of $249.62. And here's what I'm going to do. I've been trying to automate this as much as possible. So what I'm going to do is go up here and show you that I have already put a formula. You can see it up here. I've put a formula in here that it will pull in whatever it is that I plan on pulling out. It'll pull it into this field right here so that it will make a difference on our total income for the month. So I'm going to scroll back down to the bottom. Bear with me here. All right, let's look at the totals. When I get done, after adding in the sinking funds, you can see our total expenses are $9,341. And then our total income is $9,521. So the difference is about $180. So what I need to do, because of things that are going on with our vehicles, is I need to add that into the vehicle sinking fund. So I'm just going to do a sum here, and I can see it's $404.94. So that's what I'm going to put into vehicles for the month. We have a lot of repairs to do. And that brings our remainder to $0, which is exactly what we want, to give each dollar a name and a job for the month. So we're telling the money where to go rather than wondering where it went, as Dave Ramsey would say. And if you want to know more about the rest of the numbers here, I'm not going to go over those now, but you can watch one of my budget report videos because I go through each of the totals in detail. All of these numbers, I explain all of them. So that's our February budget. If you like watching budget setup videos, I've got a playlist that you can check out. So I'll leave the link to that in the description box below. And one of the greatest compliments I can receive is a thumbs up if you like this video. So take a second to do that before you move on. And please share this with anyone who you think could benefit from the information. Anytime you like a video or share it, it really helps out the channel for growth and recognition from YouTube. So I really appreciate it. If you're wondering what to watch next, you can check out this video about emergencies that go beyond the emergency fund, or you can watch this video that YouTube chose just for you. That's all I've got for you today. Until next time.